My name's Arcia and I'm a corporate dropout. Instagram changed my life without having any followers at all. About 12 months ago, I did something that I've been thinking about doing for a really long time. I quit my Fortune 100 job. I was making over $200,000 a year. I had insurance, I had benefits, I had bonuses. I was even working remotely, and I dropped it with no plan. I didn't do it for no reason. I just didn't have a plan. I had a feeling and I knew what I wanted to get to, but I didn't know how I was going to get there. The life that I wanted to have was never going to be possible at my job in corporate America. Even though I didn't know how I was going to get there, one step out of the wrong path is a step in the right path. And to be honest, this entire thing started because of Instagram. And it's not just because it's some escape where I can just brain rot and doom scroll. It's actually been the catalyst for me making over $20,000 multiple months in a row on my own business now. I've been able to do it, having total time and location freedom. I can work from anywhere. I can do whatever I want with my time. And it's because of stuff that I saw and that I took advantage of on Instagram. And if that's at all interesting to you, the fact that you're even watching this video proves that you are probably on a path to do the same, because that's all it took for me to get me set on the path. And so hopefully I'm going to give you a couple more of those tools and things that I wish I knew earlier on, instead of just getting excited about stuff that I was watching on my phone. And hopefully you'll be able to take that and put it into your own life and implement it in your own way. But I have nothing to sell you. I mean, I don't even know if I'm ever going to make a course at this rate, because I just think there's more value in creating my own business. But if I do, trust me, it'll be fucking great. So for me, this whole thing started maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I was working a corporate job. I was pretty burnt out after working at a startup just before that. And so I thought that I was going to be able to coast at my new corporate role. The startup burnt me out. And so this was going to be me just being able to kind of take a break and basically just work a couple hours a day and collect a paycheck. And to be honest, that's kind of exactly what happened at first. I had a couple years where I was really cruising on easy street. I was collecting a paycheck. It was pretty healthy. I didn't have to work that much, but pretty soon I got over it. The thing that was always in the back of my head was that I always wanted a life that was over here, and I was living a life that was over here. I wanted to make more money. I wanted cooler experiences. I wanted a bigger network. I wanted a bigger net worth. And the job that I was at and the role that I was in was taking me on a path that was getting me so far away from it, it actually started to affect my mental health. The thing is, I didn't know any better. I grew up thinking in the Bay Area, the way that you get rich is you join a startup, and then you get funding from some VC, and then if that makes an exit, you get a big payout at the end of the day. And the thing is, that's what I tried doing. That was my first job. I dedicated 7 years, the 7 hardest years of work in my entire life, to doing that. And we made an exit, but it was not at all the type of exit that people always talk about. So there I was sitting in Fortune 100, and I'm wondering to myself, damn, how the hell do I get rich? How do I live this life? How do I create this life for myself? And after a while, I just tried to bury it because I just didn't know how to do it. It all changed when one day I was sitting on my phone and I literally pulled up someone's Instagram profile and I just didn't get it. At that point, I was maybe 26 and I'm watching this kid who's like 2 or 3 years younger than me. And he was posting photos in Bali and in Cape Town and in Dubai. And he was traveling and looking at villas. And I was like, what the fuck is this kid doing where he has no responsibilities and he can live and work and do whatever he wants whenever he wants? It looks like this kid has it made, and I couldn't figure out what this kid was doing. So I started to look at people that he tagged in his photos, and I started to look through their profiles, and I started to see, different online businesses. I started to see different YouTube channels, and sometimes I would just get more profiles with more questions. And it must have been like 2019 or something, but my mind opened in that moment, and I was like, oh my God, there's an entirely different world out there. There's people that actually are living the life that I want. Like, it exists, and I could never forget it after that moment. I wanted to go and be out international on an island, building this business, making a bunch of money, going out with a bunch of other people who were doing the same thing, meeting cool people. There are kids doing it. There were kids doing it, and they were in fact younger than me. They figured out something before I did. I decided I was gonna figure out how these kids are making money, and I was gonna do it myself. I mean, they're doing it. Why couldn't I? I'm a smart guy. I can figure that out. And so I went and I started to look up courses and I started to buy them, and I would just look at these guys' profiles, and every day I would be like, what is this guy doing? He's over in Bali. He's in London. How are they living this life? And then I would start to take note from things like YouTube and just piece the story together, figure out what it was that was funding this lifestyle. At the end of the day, the story was that they created their own businesses and they could run it online. And the main difference was that these guys got in early. So at this point, 2020 hits and it's COVID, and I decide that I'm gonna go all in on figuring out how to make this online business. And I first started with what pretty much everyone does, and I tried to set up a drop shipping store. But really quickly I realized I didn't have that much money to spend on ads. I didn't want to learn ads. And so I pivoted. And then I started trying business model after business model after business model. 2 or 3 years go by. I tried doing day trading. I tried running SEO. I tried running Facebook ads because I decided maybe that would actually work. I did web design, everything that I could think of, I did. And it took me up until July of 2024 for me to actually take the plunge and leave my job. I was sick of it. I was starting to just get involved and more entrenched in this corporate world. And I'm not gonna lie to you, but I turned 30 and that actually made a big impact on me. I wanna say it didn't, but it was a milestone. And I kind of looked at myself and I said, like, dude, if you're not gonna figure this out now, you are never going to figure it out. What else could you possibly be waiting for? You've spent 4 years trying to build a business or whatever. Take the plunge and just go and figure it out. So I decided that I was going to do exactly that. And so July 2024, I sat down in front of my boss and I said, listen, I just want to let you know, I'm giving you 30 days notice. I'm leaving my job. To be honest, in that moment, it didn't feel like I was doing anything different. It didn't feel like I was quitting at all. It felt like it could have just been any other meeting, any other one-on-one with me and my boss. And even when the call was done, I didn't even know if I felt relief. I just was like, let me go get some lunch. Nothing really changed. And I guess in a way that kind of meant that it was doing exactly what I was supposed to be doing. The thing is, once the paychecks actually stop coming in, things change. Pretty quickly you realize, like, oh my God, I might not be able to pay my credit card next month. You start to realize, maybe I shouldn't go out to dinner. Maybe I should just buy groceries and cook at home. Little things that you used to buy without thinking, you kind of have to double check yourself. And it becomes more and more real as the days go on. See, the thing about seeing all these people on Instagram that had these businesses is that they had these businesses. And at the time, I didn't have any. I didn't really stand anything up. At that point, I had tried maybe like 6 or 7 different business models, and none of them had really stuck. The one that I ended up just saying I was going to go all in on was copywriting, because it cost me nothing to start and I was decently good at it already. And I figured I can just trade my time for money. And ironically, that's exactly what I wanted to start a business to get away from. But I realized, like, you need to take something to market. So that's the first lesson here, is you need to have something that the market wants if you want to make money. It might not be exactly what you want to end up doing, but it's a good place to start. And you should just pick something that you can serve for as cheaply as possible, as quickly as possible. And for me, it cost me nothing to do copywriting, so that's why I picked it. And here's the second lesson. When you start looking for businesses to do, or you start trying to figure out what to do with your time, when you're sitting there for the first week out on your own and you need to figure out how to make money, here's what most people do that is really just cope. You don't actually need to go online and watch a bunch of YouTube videos from your favorite gurus or lifestyle vlogs or whatever. To be honest, that is just mental masturbation. It's not going to help you. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are going to say, oh, but you can learn specific tactics or this and that. When you are at zero, you have no model, and you just need to get one sale in, a YouTube video is probably not going to be right for you, because it's probably honestly too advanced for you. You just need to do outreach. You just need to figure out how to get on a call with someone who might want what you have to offer. And so for me, I had to figure out who needed copywriting services. And to be honest, what worked was TikTok DMs and Upwork. I just started to basically apply for jobs on Upwork, and I actually DM'd a couple people on TikTok and I got a couple gigs. One of them I actually still do today. Now here's the thing, I don't just do copywriting anymore. What that's turned into is an entire e-commerce email marketing agency. And at the other side of it, I also do email campaigns for large enterprises as well. So that copywriting, again, you don't know what it'll turn into. I did copywriting for different brands and businesses for about 6 to 8 months. I was doing everything from webinar designs to landing page designs to just general copywriting for sales pages and all of that. Now here's the thing, that lifestyle that I wanted, it didn't go away. And I knew this was not going to get me to that lifestyle. The thing is, when you start to build a skill, you will start to be able to find other places you can leverage that skill. I don't do just copywriting anymore. I've taken that bit and I've applied it into different businesses that I now run. I'll give you one example. I always knew that if I wanted to charge someone more money, I was going to have to make them more money to justify it. So this was a fine start, and it started to get me a little bit of experience I could leverage, but it also helped me just get more into the industry and see how other people were using their copyright. And what I landed on was creating an email marketing agency for e-commerce brands. I started doing copywriting for their emails to help those convert better and literally turn my words into dollars for other brands. On top of that, I realized that I could craft some pretty compelling sales messages. And so I started crafting B2B email marketing campaigns at scale, and I now run them for other enterprises. I took what was just copywriting and then I applied it to e-commerce. I also took my copywriting and I created sales copy that enterprises could use in mass outbound. Those emails for those e-commerce brands and that campaign for those enterprises, those turn into a lot of dollars when they're done at scale. And so I took my one skill that I thought was not going to get me there, and I've now turned it into a vehicle that can actually start generating income to give me the life that I want. And so my third lesson is simple. You don't have to stick with the thing that you started with. And in fact, you probably won't. You'll find opportunities to grow and compound from it. You can take your original skill, if it was copywriting, or maybe it's Facebook ads, and you'll be able to apply it into different industries or to make another business and build off of it. I took copywriting and I was able to plug it into an e-commerce agency and be able to grow that and find other people that could do different parts of that agency for me. On the B2B side, I took that same skill and I just learned the foundations of sending these campaigns at scale. And then I just found the industries I wanted to do that in. Whatever your path is, you don't know. All you need to do is get from 0 to 1. It all started from me just getting a couple clients right out the gates and saying, okay, I'll do this for a couple $100 sometimes for free. I'll just do this to start because I know that I'll get some experience and then I might get referred, or just being in the industry, I might learn something that I might be able to take to the next level. At this point, I have 2 businesses that I'm excited about building that can actually get me financial freedom and get me location freedom and get me time freedom. I have the opportunity to get that life that I always wanted because I saw something that I liked online. I just was curious enough to chase it, and I just believed that I would figure it out. You don't need to know what it's going to be from A to Z. If you can just get from A to B, then you'll get there further. And look, let me just end by saying I'm 31. For all intents and purposes, there's probably very few people at my age trying to do this. Like this probably shouldn't have happened up until now. I should have figured this out probably a decade ago. Just because I'm late though, and just because you might be late, doesn't mean that you can't get started. It doesn't matter at all, really. Nothing fucking matters. Who gives a fuck? Do whatever you want. It's your life. Go make a business if you want. Or stop doing business entirely and go train jujitsu for the rest of your life. It doesn't fucking matter. The point is, you have the autonomy to change your life whenever you want. And I'm proof of that. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm getting there. And I'm earning more money, and I'm crafting that lifestyle every single day. So if you want to watch and follow along, subscribe, comment, follow me on all my channels. And for now, I don't have anything to sell you. I don't have a course. Nothing. I just have my story, and hopefully it helps you if it's relevant to you.